Hi, this is Demetria Clark from Heart of Herbs Herbal School. You can find us online at www.heartofherbs.com, or you can also find us on Twitter at Twitter/Heart of Herbs, Pinterest/Heart of Herbs, and by searching Heart of Herbs on Facebook. Today I'm going to talk about a blog posting we have in a little bit more detail that has to do with making Blackberry Cordial. Cordials are liqueurs that use distilled spirits, and they're usually flavored with fruit, cream, herbs, spices, flowers, nuts. And they are also a form of herbal medicine. So, the first thing you want to do is to get 4 cups of ripe, sweet blackberries. Use the type that you like the most. I like wild blackberries. I like berries I can get from the farmer's market. Use 3 cups bottled water, 4 whole cloves, 3 black peppercorns, 2 cardamom pods. And what I want you to do is to lightly crush them and roll them in your hand. The heat from your hand activates the cell wall and it helps it assist in releasing some of the essential oil. 2 cinnamon sticks, you can do the same with those. 1 bay leaf, 1 cup of dry sweetener. So that can be light brown sugar, white sugar, evaporated cane juice. You could potentially use other naturally evaporated sweeteners. I wouldn't suggest using liquid sweeteners like agave nectar, molasses, honey. It'll change the consistency too much. Now, if you did want to do that, you would need to use more berries, and I don't have the exact ratios for that. And then you'll need 1 1/4 cups cognac or other brandy. And I really suggest, because you're drinking this internally, that you use the best quality cognac or brandy that you can afford. And cognac is a variety of brandy from France, and it's only grown in a certain region. It has strict appellation d'origine control, which means that and you'll have to excuse my friend, but there means that there's a certain legal requirement in what can be called cognac and what is not acceptable. So I really believe that it's important to use, when you're taking this internally as a beverage, to maybe not drink as much. Do smaller serving sizes and you'll enjoy it more because it'll taste better. So obviously you don't need to go with the Cordon Bleu, which is really a top shelf selection, and it would be fabulous, but personally it's a little rich for my blood. But use a blend that uses Grand Champagne or Petit Champagne Cruz for it gives it a champagne distinction, and it makes it a very nice beverage. You'll notice an unmistakable undertone of vanilla and dried fruit, usually in those kinds of cognacs. And that's because they're aged in French barrels for up to a decade. And that's pretty cool nowadays. Everything is done so very quickly. So in a medium saucepan, you'll want to add the blackberries and water. Then add the cloves, peppercorns, cardamom, cinnamon, and bay leaf. Bring the mixture to a boil and simmer for 25 to 30 minutes. As the mixture simmers, gently smoosh the berries into the side of the pan. You can use a wooden spoon or something like that to just kind of gently, or a rubber spatula, just to gently help it release all of the yumminess that's in the fruit cell walls. So, after you've done that, strain the berries through a sieve into a heat-proof bowl without pressing on the berries. And most bowls that are made from Fire King or Pyrex, those are all generally good for very high temperatures, so those would be pretty safe. Stir in the sugar until it's all dissolved and allow the liquid to cool. When cooled to lukewarm, stir in the cognac and pour into bottles. Okay, so for this part of the game plan, I like storing in canning jars. Some people suggest corked bottles. Some people suggest, storing them in the fancy jars right away. And I don't, and here's why. This, putting it into a clean canning jar, is going to prevent mold growth. It's going to have an airtight seal. It's going to, have a definite barrier from the elements to the jar. Sometimes the fancy jars don't seal really tightly. Sometimes cork becomes unsafe if it's allowed to dry out, so you don't want bacteria or anything to grow. So that just, it's just easier that way. And then when I'm ready to use it, I, put it into a decanter and put it into cordial glasses. Now the interesting thing is that you can find decanters everywhere. They're always for sale at yard sales. They're always at antique stores for just a few bucks. So you can get yourself some really cool looking decanters. And when you're ready to start using it, you can put it into a decanter and you can use it from there. But until then, it's safe in canning jars. Everyone in my family jokes that it's my purple moonshine, but there's nothing illegal about this. It just kind of looks like moonshine that's purple in a canning jar. So I hope this has been helpful. And if you have any questions, you can always email me, Demetria@Demetria.com, or visit us at heartofherbs.com. Oh, and just a quick note. So the cordial can also be an adult soda by mixing it with a little ice and seltzer water. You can put it over a pound cake. Some people really like it with chocolate or a little bit over ice cream. So, have some fun with it. It doesn't have to just be for sipping. And it's a lovely summertime drink. And in the wintertime, if you want, add a few more sticks of cinnamon or some mulling spices. You can have hot mulled Blackberry Cordial, which is quite lovely too. So I hope you have a wonderful day and that you enjoyed this. Thank you for listening.